All right. I think we're going live. Hope we're going live. This is still kind of new to me. So bear with me. Bear with me. We're gonna go live. All right. I'm gonna assume we're live because I hope it's live. And Anyway, I just want to introduce myself. It's like, hello, everyone. My name is Mas, and I'm from Recovery. Today, what I want to do is I want to take a deep dive into a topic that hits home for like a lot of us, and that's toxic manipulation and pathological envy from people with narcissistic personality traits. Now, if you ever find that, you ever felt like you were like a light that was being dimmed by someone that should have had your best interest at heart, it should have been your biggest supporter, and then this video, and then this video is like really important for you to watch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down and shed some light into this darkness. So let's break down narcissistic pathological envy, because it's wild how pathological envy of a narcissist reveals just how powerful that we are. And I'll break that down for you, because all of their manipulation tactics that narcissists use, of all of the ones that they use, pathological envy is the one that kind of stands out like a sore thumb. And it's baffling to think that someone that we genuinely care about would want to sabotage us, to undermine our joy, or belittle our accomplishments. But that's where we are, and that's what they end up doing. They end up doing just that. And if you look just underneath the surface, you just scratch underneath the surface, you're going to see that narcissist pathological envy is like a black hole, and it sucks all the light out from around it. And narcissists crave being in the center of attention. They want to be the one with the most fame, the most wealth, the most status. And it's any threat to these grandiose delusions can trigger a narcissistic injury, and inevitably, narcissistic rage. And they can become critics of everyone, and they don't even have to be able to match the efforts of the people that they are criticizing, not even close. So it's just like, you can imagine as if like you were a shining bright, like a star in the sky, but instead of admiring your sparkle, the narcissist wants to cover you with a dark cloud, because your success reminds them of their own failures, right? And their own inability to shine. So they do everything in their power to dim your light. And it's like they have this need to be the only star in the sky. So, how does narcissist pathological envy impact the people around them? Well, like, let's picture this. Let's say that you're climbing a mountain, and each step you're taking takes you closer to your dreams. But the person that you thought would be your climbing partner starts to throw rocks at you. Well, and then they do everything that they can just to knock you down, because your progress reminds them of their own stagnation. And it's just like the saying goes, it's like misery loves company. And narcissists, man, they got a lot of misery, a lot to share. So it's just like, if they can have company in their own misery, then that makes them feel good. And in the beginning, a narcissist may seem like they're the best partner. They shower you with praise, they're using you as a trophy and show you off to all other people. But as your journey with their in through this relationship continues, it's just like their pathological envy kicks in, and what was once like subtle contempt becomes constant verbal assault, bashing every aspect of your identity, your dreams, and your goals. Right? So it's like building a beautiful garden, only to have someone come in and just trample all your flowers every single day, right after you've attended to it. The narcissist can't stand to see someone flourish. They just can't stand it. And why is that? Well, it's because your achievements threaten their own control over you. And your happiness outside of their influence, it terrifies them. So, if you were to be a success, what would you need them for? So, what do? They sabotage your success. Um, and there's an emotional bonding process that takes place with a narcissist that I'm going to talk you through. Because here's the thing: narcissists are drawn to us not just because of our vulnerabilities, but also because of our strengths. And when we do have success and achievements that we're actually proud of, well, that becomes a threat to their control. Because if we find happiness outside the narcissist, oh my gosh, well, what would happen? Well, they would feel like they're losing their grip on us. So in a way, our independence is like a mirror reflecting their own insecurities, and they don't like that, like not one bit. So you can consider it this way. A narcissist, they'll often claim that their victims obsess about them. But in reality, it's the narcissist who's doing the obsessing. They watch us like hawks, and they're constantly collecting information about against us that they're going to use later. So what do? They idolize us, and then they hit us where it hurts, where we least expect it. And that isn't love. It's actually predatory behavior, because you can think of it like a vampire, right? And then a vampire needs to drain the life out of anyone else in order to feel alive. Right? Narcissists do the exact same thing, but they do it by feeding off our energy, by feeding off our achievements. They don't celebrate our successes. They see them as personal attacks. Our victories are like a stake to their heart, reminders of their own failures. So let's look at the signs, the red flags behind the narcissistic relationship dynamics. One of the most baffling tactics narcissists use is exaggerating, perceived flaws, or fabricating ones in their victims when they just completely make up. And what are they going to do? They're going to nitpick, they're going to criticize, anything to make them feel more superior. And it's a classic case of projection. They're projecting their own insecurities onto you. They don't know what to do with their own insecurities. They don't know how to process insecurity. So, what do? They give them to someone else. Here you go. It's your problem now, right? Well, they feel joy by bringing others down, and it's really warped the way that happens. So let's talk about the narcissist double standard. And this could be like an example of like an unemployed spouse will be the one that's criticizing the working one, or a friend with poor grammar is policing your speech and your emails and your text messages. And these are just the kinds of absurdities that we face when we're dealing with narcissistic personality types. They have this false sense of security that comes from put downs and demeaning insults, and all of them to make their victims feel just really small. But what you can do is you can imagine yourself as a mirror, and what it does is it reflects, like your mirror reflects the narcissist's distorted view. And a narcissist will never see your true worth. They will only see their own insecurities that they magnify in you. So the narcissist, yeah, they'll want to feel the way narcissists will want you to feel the way that they do. So what do? They project their flaws onto you, hoping that they'll make you feel as small on the outside as they feel on the inside. But there are ways that we can cope and recover from narcissistic manipulation. So how do we cope? Well, with the attacks of a narcissist, well, it can be really tough, right? But it starts by recognizing that their envy is not a reflection of our worth, right? We need to filter out the narcissist's toxic words and see them for what they are, signs of their own insecurity and their own fear. And all they're trying to do is belittle us. And survivors of narcissistic manipulation often struggle with self-sabotage, fearing that their accomplishments will evoke the narcissist's wrath, right? So you're always, what do we do to manage? It's like we start walking on eggshells, and that's no way to live. We must regain our power and recognize that, we experience such a reaction because we are the powerful ones. That voice that the narcissist puts into our brains is not our voice. It's their voice. It's their anxiety. It's their worry. It's their fear. And you can imagine yourself almost as a phoenix rising up from the ashes, just like my logo. That's kind of what it feels like, because your strength and your resilience are what scares the narcissist the most. They see the fire within you and try to extinguish it, but they can't. It's just too deep to extinguish. And you have the power to rise above, to turn their put downs into power. So, that's where we start, turning put downs into power. So consider this. Every time that a narcissist tries to degrade our goals or our dreams, it's actually a sign that they recognize our value, right? They won't try so hard to sabotage something that is insignificant. So we need to kind of just translate their put downs into affirmations of our own worth. The exact opposite of a narcissist's words are what is actually true. And when we start to see the truth behind the lies and behind the manipulation, that's when life just starts to make a bit more sense. So it's like, remember, healthy people don't feel threatened by others' success. They don't. They feel happy and pride, because you deserve to succeed. You deserve to flourish, and you deserve to be surrounded by people who genuinely support you. So you can imagine, it's like if you were like a tree and it's growing tall and strong. And the narcissist is kind of like a storm that's kind of coming. It's brewing off in the distance. And what it's trying to do is uproot you. But if your roots run deep, if your foundation is solid, no matter how much they try to shake you, you can stand firm. And you look at the way the trunk of a tree. We're just kind of focus on the trunk. How the trunk just approaches storms. The trunk of a tree, it only has one job during a storm, and that's to keep the tree standing up straight. And every ring on the trunk of the tree is a symbol of a season that the tree has survived. And as the storms leave, what happens? Well, yeah, the storm comes, the wind comes, it raises it up, and then the weaker leaves leave, and the weaker branches are blown away. And what's left is a tree that's stronger after the storm than it was before. So every storm that a tree endures, the stronger it becomes. And it's the same with toxic relationships and toxic manipulation. These relationships have a weird way of making us stronger. And healing from narcissistic abuse can feel daunting, and actually, it can be. It can be really daunting. It's like, taking on a journey through a dense forest of a narcissist's lies and projection. And at first, it's like easy to get lost. It's easy to get surrounded by the darkness and all that uncertainty. But with each step, you start to see the light flickering through the trees. And then you find, a clearing. You can look up and you can find what your North Star is. Like, yeah, you're there. You're in the middle of that mess, a toxic mess. But, once you see your North Star, you know what direction to go. And this is the art of pausing during narcissistic recovery to see where you are, to find a clearing, to find out what direction you want to go in, and then head in that direction, right? And sometimes during recovery, we have to go through this process again and again, constantly hitting pause, looking at where we are, looking at where we want to go, and then moving back in that direction again. And it's important to remember that you're not alone in this journey through narcissism recovery. There's others that have kind of walked this path, that have found their way out. And the whole thing is like keeping your story to yourself. It doesn't help. It actually enables more bad behavior. So sharing your story, finding support, and leaning on those who understand can make all the difference. And no matter how deep you are in where, you're still going to make progress, because it's just like every day you're learning and growing from your experiences. And as you talk about your experiences and other people start to hear, what ends up happening is you end up becoming this lighthouse that's just kind of guiding ships through a stormy seas. And what you're going to find is the support of others can be like that beacon of light, helping others navigate through these rough, waters of recovery. So now let's talk about some practical steps of recovery. And first, that's actually quite crucial is setting boundaries. And a narcissist, it's just like they don't respect boundaries. They will push boundaries and push and push, and trying to invade your space. So setting firm boundaries is like building a fortress, but it's a fortress around your heart, protecting your peace. Because your boundaries aren't there to hurt them. They may act like it. They may seem like they might think that it is, but they're actually there to protect you, because boundaries are a defensive strategy, right? And next is to practice self-compassion as often as you can. Yeah, you've been through a lot, and it's important to be kind to yourself. So self-compassion is like a warm blanket wrapping you in just, comfort and care. And also, finding activities that bring you joy and fulfillment, whether it's a hobby, whether it's spending time with loved ones or pursuing a passion. These activities are like rays of sunshine that break through the clouds. It's like, tapping into the love of others. And don't hesitate to get professional help if it's absolutely needed, because therapy can provide amazing tools and support that you need in order to heal. It's like having a guide on your journey through this narcissistic matrix. Of somebody who just can help you navigate through this terrain. Just they can be a therapist, can be just a grounding force to help you see the forest through the trees. And empowerment in this whole recovery process from narcissistic abuse. It's like it's important to recognize your worth and celebrate your strengths, because the power is like a fire that's within you, and it's time to like burn bright. So surround yourself with positive influences, people that aren't in the narcissist circle, that aren't in their influence. So it's just like friends and family and communities that uplift you and support you. They're like the wind beneath your wings. They're the ones that are going to believe in you when no one else does, and they're the ones that are going to inspire you to soar. So it's just like, remember, you have the power to create the life that you deserve. You are not defined by narcissist envy or manipulation. You are defined by your strength, by your resilience. And you have the capacity to love and be loved, right? And I want to remind you that you are the powerful one here in this storyline, because the narcissist pathological envy is actually a measure of your own potential, because you have the power to rise above, to heal, to thrive. And if you can break free from narcissist control, wow, you've just proven to the world that you can't be controlled, not by them, not by anybody. Right. So thank you for joining me on this journey. I really appreciate everyone that's kind of follows my feed and makes comments and all the support. It's like it's so amazing to see. I love it all. I love it all. So just remember, you're not alone, and there is a brighter future ahead. So stay strong, stay empowered. Just keep shining. Hey Scott, I see that you're there. I don't like this because I have to look down. Oh, you're very welcome. Perfect timing. I guess it's something that you're going through, Scott. Yeah, because what you're gonna find is just like narcissistic envy. It's just kind of like it's because they're so insecure. Their insecurities is in there, and they don't want to feel alone. So it's just like, yeah, if they're insecure, then that's a normal behavior. That's how I feel, is insecure. And so what are they gonna do? They have this pathological envy, and they have to be the brightest star in the room, and it's just not helpful. But anyway, I'm gonna end the stream here. I hope everyone who joined finds it really helpful, and thank you so much for watching.